What's up? What's up? What's up? Hi, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're joining us. I am very, very excited to be having this session this evening. You will be surprised, like, what is going on live at 8 p.m.? Where are the boys? Yeah. Today with me is the crew, part of the amazing crew for the online visibility bootcamp. I am super excited, and we're going to be doing a couple of introductions. Now, to my right, top right, is Miss Madonna Williams. Madonna Williams, you're welcome.
Hey everybody.
And the amazing lady in lilac, she is Miss Deborah Franklin. Say hello, Miss Deborah.
Hello, hello, hello.
And the gentleman in the room. Blessed are you amongst women. DJ Sabaggio. Say hello
Hi
to
everybody, how you all doing?
yeah. So everyone, this is an amazing time. If you don't have a notepad, if you don't have your pen and paper, something to write on, go grab something. It's going to be absolutely fun. Do share this. And if you're just joining us, leave your name and where you're watching us from so that we can welcome you. If you're watching via the replay, thank you so much. Hashtag replay. And so I'll give the speakers 1 minute to introduce themselves and we get started. And so, Miss Deborah.
Oh, I guess I'm going first. Oh, well, hello, everybody. What's up? It's your girl, Deborah Franklin. I help high achieving women to tell their story, to increase their visibility, influence, and most of all, get the coin. And I am also the founder of Church Girl CEO. Can't say it any better because we are all leaders in ministry and in business. So if you're ready to tell your story, get the visibility, make the influence, and most of all, get the profits, I am the girl you need to holler at.
Woo! And holla you will. Congratulations, Deborah. Yes, so Miss Madonna, you go ahead.
All right. Hello everyone. I am Madonna Williams. I help successful women of faith break free from fear and anger so that they can discover their inner wealth and treasure their inner beauty. So I am the founder of Treasure Your Inner Beauty, where we help you unravel some of those myths that you've been told since you was a little child and you're just like, I know I want to be able to be profitable. I know I want to have my own business. I know I want to leave a legacy, but you don't know how to do that. Well, first of all, we have to unravel some of those old negative thoughts that's hindering you in order for you to be able to move forward and leave your legacy and influence in the earth. So that's who I am, and I'm excited to be here today.
Amazing. And I think it is not just your inner beauty that's coming on today. There's a lot of outer beauty as well.
Yes, working it today.
Amazing, sis. DJ, so let us know a bit about yourself and what you do.
Hi everyone, how you doing? My name's DJ Sabanjo. I run a few companies. One of them is called Profit from Coaching, which is focused on helping heart-led coaches build profitable money-making businesses around their passion for helping others. I also run another organization called The Leading Manager, which focuses on helping corporate organizations develop the leaders, the managers that will deliver their corporate business plan. And I also run other little thing that we call profit pulling funnels, which basically helps entrepreneurs build and optimize funnels online. But primarily, my passion, what really drives me is to help myself and others live highly effective and productive lives, primarily based on biblical principles.
I love that.
Amazing,
Awesome,
amazing.
awesome, awesome.
And if there's anything that has been a denominator, is the fact that there has been the heart-led church biblical principles. We're working with women of faith. We are people of faith, and we're interested in creating impact. and income, as well as serving people. Like, I mean, it has come across so loud, and I'm so glad to have people who share the same passion, the same burden, because a lot of people are in business for different things. But yeah, today we're going to be talking about what we do, our story, who we are, how we have come to where we are right now, and how that story can help someone. Because sometimes it does more for other people than for us to actually
Yes.
look back, because we're, as entrepreneurs, we're constantly looking forward to the next goal, the next thing, but
Yes.
it's good to take some time to turn and look back at where you actually started, and then how you have come to be where you are now. Okay, so who would like to go first? Let me just leave that.
Okay, since we're talking about telling your story, y'all know that's my thing, that's my jam. And I believe that everybody has a story to tell, no matter what. Anything that you've gone through, the biggest thing is you have to remember that you didn't go through it for yourself. You went through it because remember the test when there's a test, there is a testimony. And then with that test, there's always a story of what led to that. Why did you do this? How did you get through it? Because so many people are going through so many things.
Yes.
Just like Madonna said, we have to unravel those things that are hindering you from your past, because I can stand flat-footed and say, yes, I have been a victim of verbal abuse. Yes, I have figured out some tools to help me not stay in that place. But what if I never shared that with anybody? People would think that no one, they would be the only ones that's gone through it. They would think they're the
Mhm.
only ones that's been in ministry, had a miscarriage, and wasn't married, and had to figure out how they were going to still be in ministry, but still be a leader, and go through those kind of things. But I wasn't afraid to tell my story. And when I told it, people were like, oh my God, I'm thank you for telling it. And it's not why I told the story. I told it because I feel like, no, I know we could grow so much bigger in ministry and as ministry leaders if we were honest about what we went through, as opposed to turning up our nose to everybody. Because I don't care. I'm sorry, whatever continent you own, you know how the old saints be acting like they ain't never seen the day in their life, and all they can tell you that, look, you need to do this. Ooh, you know how they do. But think about if they had told their stories to us, would we have been a lot further along, better along than where we are now? So why don't we reach down? Really, you're reaching down to the generation below you, and also out to the generation that's with you, to share your story so people can feel like they're not alone. And we just went through a whole season of being alone. But could you imagine if somebody knew that you had gone through some similar things, where they could be on the other side of this, as opposed to feeling like they were in the shoulda, coulda, woulda situation? So those are some key things of telling your story that's important. Outside of getting visibility for yourself, getting visibility for your company, getting visibility for what you're doing, or even making profits from the book. But it's just the point of your why in telling your story cannot be about making money. Your why has to be, who am I here to serve today?
Yes.
Because that's one of the key things. We have to be ready to serve. We cannot make it through and all we're thinking about is I. One of my pastor would say, iPhone, I this. We got to take the I out of it and start looking at the we and who we serve.
We Okay.
Love
Thank
that.
you. Thank you. So for all those of you who have iPhones, I think you better submit the we're getting refunds. Oh yeah. So but I really love the part you talked about, the being honest. Sharing your story
Mhm.
brings you back to earth. It brings the honesty. Puts the honesty in your brand. It makes people differentiate you from every other person. Because there are a million and one business coaches, there are a million and one publishing houses, there are a million and one ministry people, and so. But what makes you special? It's your story. And
Right.
it's amazing. You really hit the nail on the head, because people will connect to your story more than any fancy marketing gimmick or whatever. And so, yeah, for all those who are just joining us, you're welcome. Miss Deborah was talking about how sharing your story is important, and she will be talking about this in a very detailed format, how to turn your story into multiple streams of income. Now, she's a publisher, yes, but there are other things you can do
Yeah,
with your story. And so there's a whole lot she's going to unpack for us during her session. So let's talk to Miss Madonna. Yeah, tell us
absolutely.
about your story and how you have come to be where you're at now with Treasure Your Inner Beauty.
Yes. So I love what Deborah said. The key thing that she said was tell for me. That's what stood out for me. A lot of times, what I see and what happened for me was I didn't tell. So, like how the old mothers used to say, I'm gonna say like how Deborah said, the old mothers would say, what happens in this house
Mm-hmm.
stays in this house. And there is a truth in that just like if you're sweeping it under the rug, it's going to stay in the house.
Hmm.
So if that pain happened to you, whether it be divorce, miscarriage, abuse, for me, it was cancer, right? So, but it was because I didn't tell, I didn't ask or reach out for help. And so that's why I'm here, because I'm just like, oh, I'm here. Yeah, I don't have to suffer in silence anymore. I'm here
Hmm.
so I can keep on saying over and over, I'm here to help. I'm here to serve you. How can I help? How can I serve you? Because when I was going through a season of nurturing anger, because that's what God began to tell me that it was, He said it started out as a seed of bitterness. And because you nurtured it for 9 months, it became anger and it produced dis-ease. And so that dis-ease for me was breast cancer. So when I got the diagnosis and the 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 doctor eventually said I had to heal from the inside out, I'm just like, okay, Lord, I know exactly what I'm supposed to do. I need to go back and forgive people that I didn't want to forgive. Had to learn how to forgive myself. I didn't want to do that. And I really had to let go of a lot of things that I was told in the past. One of them was, and this may help somebody. Sometimes you may want to step out into this entrepreneur world and you are still holding on to the belief that your parents said, don't talk to strangers. Well, trust and believe. If you want to get anywhere in business, you're gonna have to talk to some folks that you don't know. And so that was just one of the myths that I had to overcome. And then there are several other myths that I will be talking about when for our conference. So because we need to bust some of these myths in order for you to be able to propel and move forward to the things that God has called you to do. So that's just one of the things for me that I kind of help as far as in treasuring your inner beauty. We have to deal with the lies and we have to deal with the myths.
Amazing, amazing. I mean, it's what blows my mind is the fact that you can take a an amazing strategy and hand it over to someone who is not yet ready for it mentally, and it won't work. And so the best, they can have the best of teams, they can have hire the best of hands, everything can be on point, but the if the mind has not been worked on, if they have not yet dealt with the fact that, oh, I don't think I deserve to get paid that much, if they still have that
Mhm.
going through their minds, no matter what course they buy, no matter what mastermind they join, it would still be the ceiling against which they hit. And so for those who are watching, the link, I'm sharing the link to the boot camp in the comments. So the link is there. Miss Madonna will be coming to help you break those myths. It is a lie from the pit of for the pit of hell, and it is not in line with God's will for you. You are to prosper. And if your
Yes.
mindset is getting in the way, then there's something that needs to be done about it. Yeah. And so, yeah. So, DJ, tell us about your entrepreneurial journey and how you have come to be where you are right now.
That's a very dangerous question, but anyway, What I'll say, just listening to Deborah and Madonna, especially where Deborah was talking about your story, and it really resonated with me critically. Um, when you're telling a story, now different people tell stories for different reasons, but I sincerely believe that what we're talking about here is where, one, you care about others, and number two, you're looking to help others. I mean, we've had COVID-19 and its impact on many of us. We've been holed up in our houses for so long. Many of us lost friends and family to the virus, and it impacted us in a lot of ways. Some people lost their livelihoods. I mean, businesses went from this big to just boom that little within a month. It was huge. However, the thing is, we all went through it together.
Mm-hmm.
See, and so because we all went through it together, what did we do? We encouraged one another by sharing our realities and context. We get on the phone with each other and we share how we're going through things, and we encourage each other, which is cool. The reality, though, is many people go through a COVID situation. And when I mean that, I mean some sort of crisis or another, and they go through it while everyone else is getting on with their lives. Now, the challenge with this is when I'm going through this really difficult moment and my world has stopped, but it looks like everyone else's world is moving along, I kind of feel like I don't fit in. I kind of feel like I just want to shut myself away and feel sorry for myself. And that can happen for people, which, the good thing about COVID is because we all went through it together, right? It wasn't that bad. But just imagine everyone is getting on with their lives and you have this little disease that shows up in your body, and all of a sudden your life comes to a halt. Or maybe the organization you've been working with for how many years just says, sorry, but we've got someone who's younger than you and who's willing to get paid half of what you're getting paid, and so we're going to let you go. And then all of a sudden you don't have a job. Or maybe someone who goes through a relationship breakdown, one thing or another, or maybe their business crashes, and then they're in that difficult place all by themselves. Now, in that sort of situation, that's where, when your story, you have gone through a similar situation, and that's how powerful stories are, is you give them hope. You get them to believe that, hey, if this can happen for this person, it can happen for me. And that's why our stories are meant to bless people.
Yes.
Now, talking about stories and just sharing my story, I remembered when I was in direct sales network marketing, gosh, a lifetime ago. And I tell people I failed my way to success in that business. My story is really interesting. I mean, everything. I remembered one day sitting in front of my computer, because I'd done everything they said to do and it wasn't working. I sit in front of my computer and I'm crying. I'm literally crying. I'm like, God, what am I not doing right? I remembered at some point my wife is like, are you sure God is in this thing? Because you put so much into it and I'm not seeing anything happen for you. And she was saying that she cared, right? But I stuck with it. And Ruth, my story. At some point, things picked up for me, and I just went from being, I called myself a non-entity within that particular company. With it, by my 18th month, it just literally exploded. Now, and I remembered one day I was invited to this, it's a business opportunity meeting they're called. Anyone who understands that industry knows that speak, right? So I go to this business opportunity meeting, and the guy who's hosting it, he knows my story because I shared it with him. And he says, share your story. I'm like, are you sure you want me to share this story here? He says, share your story. I'm like, okay, if you want me to. And I share my story. And guess what? Some of the people who came for the event, who were actually interested in signing up, heard my story and didn't sign up. Why? Why? Because it's crazy, right? Because they were thinking, I don't want to go through that in order to get that result. However, there were some people, listen to this, who were already within the business and who were really struggling, beginning to have doubts. and beginning to ask themselves, is it really worth it? And what my
Mm.
story did for them is they looked at me. At that time, I was still in my 20s, right? And they felt this young black kid who's only been in England for a few years. If he can make this happen, surely I can, right? And that encouraged them to stick with it. Now, but the thing is, I learned something from that, which has stayed with me. It's helped me understand the power of story, and it's also helped me understand the power of context. And what I mean by that is, and this is the same for many of us, and for those of you who are watching this right now, your life is a series of experiences.
Mhm.
And sometimes we preach at people too much. And rather than preaching at them, just look at your life and ask yourself, what experience of mine can I share with this individual that would really bring some clarity to them, or bring some encouragement to them, or bring some hope, or even challenge them? That their life can be better, they can do better, they can have better. And that's really so, and this is really when we begin to look at how we weave storytelling into strategy, which is what am I looking to achieve here, and how can I achieve that in this situation? And just like in that situation, I mean, it probably wasn't the right place to tell that particular story. I could have told a different story for people. Now, if it was a business meeting or a training event for people who were in that place facing
Yeah.
that challenge, it will have been perfect. And so I told the right story to a mix of people. Some of them were the wrong people, some of them were the right people. But I told it, and it encouraged some people and it discouraged some. And I think that the key, and for me, this is where I use what I call there's no one size fits all rule except in exceptional cases. And that's how I like to do strategy. So we can't take a blanket strategy and then just say this is, like, when people say this is the secret to success, I say that's
Mm.
nonsense. Say this is the secret of my success.
Yeah.
That could be correct. There is no one size fits all to creating success. Why? Because everyone's context is different. If you don't have any, if you don't have the responsibility of toddlers, then it's a different reality if you have toddlers in your home to if you have teenagers. So if you are, for example, a home-based entrepreneur who has toddlers, a plan that might work for someone with teenagers may not work for someone with toddlers.
Right.
And this is why I'm very, very careful. And unfortunately, this is where a lot of people mess up. Sorry, I'm going on and on and on,
I think
right?
I think you should hold that thought, because that's actually what we're going to be talking about next.
Okay,
The
cool, cool.
the
You,
internet has
yeah, you need to let me know when to shut up because I can go on. I can talk for
okay.
London.
So when I do this, you know that you get a rapper. But I could listen to this all day, and I know a lot of people resonate with what you're saying. The internet is a combination of all sorts. And when people get online, they are excited that I'm speaking to millions of people. Now, the mistake anyone will be making would be that everyone is your customer. The assumption
Mm.
that you are supposed to be speaking to everyone. And so I want us to touch on the importance of narrowing down who it is that you serve and how it impacts your ability to deliver. So I think let's have a talk around that, because for so many people, they feel, okay, yes, there are thousands of or millions of people on Facebook, is a good platform, there are millions of people on Instagram, definitely my audience is there. So but how, and then they post and they don't get feedback, and they are wondering, I'm not seeing any results, or I'm not making, my business is not growing. So but usually it comes down to the fact that they have not identified the who. So let's deconstruct that scenario with businesses who are trying to get online in 2021. Miss Deborah.
Okay, I was get started. The importance of niching, and the key word, y'all, just to be listen for it, is niche, and whatever you want to call it, Niche. However you want to pronounce it, that's what you got to start
You
thinking about
pronounced it
doing.
right. Yes, that was good. I thought you were going to do an American pronunciation there.
Me
See,
too.
I've been practicing. Ooh, y'all better watch out. Now I might mess something else up later, but let's work with me. Work with me. So a lot of times we don't. A lot of times when you start your business, they'll say, "Who are you serving?" The first thing people say, "I'm gonna serve everybody. Everybody is my customer." No, even Crest got 6 different flavors. Even Crest knows, toothpaste knows that everybody doesn't want a whitening cream. So they have different things for different people. And you have to realize when you jump into these good entrepreneurial streets, especially in these good, how you said, Madonna, these internet streets. When you
Yes,
get out into
child.
these, when you get out into these internet streets, you have to know which lane you're going to drive in, because
Mm.
you cannot drive in all of them. And so for me, I know going in, I know I cater to Christian women who are entrepreneurs and really who were operating ministry. Because, and when I say ministry, I'm not necessarily talking about they have to be a minister, choir director. I'm talking about any woman that works in ministry from the pulpit to the parking lot. And that's because a lot of times those are the women that are looked over. And the reason why I can say that is because I am a woman in ministry. And so many times we don't have a place that we can go and just be no title and just be, hey, this Deborah, I'm tripping, I'm struggling. What can we do? They don't have that place. So that's why we created Church Girl CEO, to be a safe place for women to come in and talk about their businesses, talk about what they're going through. But what if I started letting men in? What if I started letting people just that weren't involved in ministry? Then I'm creating them, putting them in the same scenario that they're running from, or trying to get away from, or trying to find that salah for. So that's why you have to know who you serve, because when you know who you serve, you're able to serve them in a way that's beneficial for them as well as for you, and then they trust you. um if I was doing the same thing as everybody else, nobody would want to even hang out with me, because then why would you be in the room with everybody doing the same thing? Our common denominator is ministry. I literally hold a workshop. When you sign in, you cannot have a title. It can only be your first name. The only person that came to this workshop that used their title was somebody that I like, that's like mother. We call her mother. So she came in and she still had apostle on her name. Did I tell her to take apostle off? No, maybe she's been apostle for like 9,000 years. You can't take that off. Oh, when the apostle shows up, you just sit there and you sit back and just say, yes, ma'am, or yes, sir, whoever the apostle is. But what I'm saying is that everybody was working together and nobody knew what their titles were. Nobody knew what was going on. And so that's what you have to realize when you're getting ready to make that step into these streets.
Okay. So I mean, it's very, 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 very important to understand who it is that you're called to
Yes.
serve, who it is that you're called to serve, Miss Madonna. So your for those who are just starting out, what is the and they want to reach people? Is there any is there any way they should think about their prospects or leads that will help them, you know, attract or convince their people that, okay, yes, I am here for you. This is me and this is you. We should get together.
Well, a lot of times what I see is women who are trying to pretend to be something that they're not. That's what I see. And so for me, like I said, it's just a time to remove the labels. So they're just women of faith still acting out like children playing dress up. So when they come over here to me, honestly, it's just like, okay, we have to remove that so that you can see your true authentic self. Because it's not time for you to be a copy. we want to see the original. And that is what people are drawn to. When you become your true self, people are drawn to you naturally. No, because of the way you talk, because the way you wear your hair, the way you might say y'all. They are drawn to you because you are you. They're not drawn to you because you're trying to be somebody on television. They want the real you. And that's something that I had to break down for myself. Stop trying to be everybody else and be an original. And once I did that, everybody is drawn to me because I'm honest, I'm truthful. I will tell you like it is in a heartbeat and not hold my breath. And so when it comes to, and I'm not sure if that's my sound, but as far as the feedback, but as far as when it comes to, you know, getting in front of your audience, you need to realize and recognize your brand voice and be yourself, because that's who people want.
Authenticity is key to move anything forward, because if you aren't authentic, and like Madonna, I used to hide in the shell too, and then I just said forget it, I'm loud, I can't help it, my folk from the country, I'm used to, like my grandfather, and he 97 will still try to call himself yelling at me, and I'm gonna yell back. But the thing is, that's just natural. I say, hey y'all, I'm from Texas, I can't help it, it's in me. And once I started to realize that, hey, this is just who I am, I'm going to be me and do me and show up as me. When I started to show up as me without the mask, without the facade, without trying to imitate, just because everybody else wearing a hat, baby, I don't like all them big old hats. You know them big old hats, the big church hats? Y'all know y'all got them, because y'all know y'all got mothers on every continent that wear them big old church hats. Y'all know I seen them. I know that's not me. But if I have to do it maybe one Sunday out of the year, I will. But that's not who I am. And so why keep trying to pretend to be something that you're not? But you also bring value. And then another thing about showing up as being your authentic self, you learn to value yourself. When you value who you are, nobody else can take that away from you. If all you wear is flats, wear your flats and hold your head up high. If you want to wear stilettos, wear your stilettos and hold your head up high. But you have got to learn that you have to be you no matter where you are. And the other thing is, when you know whose you are and who you are, nothing can stop you from making to your next step.
You know, I agree. I'm not sure whether we have. I'll keep quiet then.
There's an echo. I think there's an echo. Do you think you need to go out and come back in?
Who, me?
He's fine.
Okay.
I'm fine.
Okay, so go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, there is this thing about believing in yourself. I think for many of us, this is it. You know, for so long, the media has communicated an ideal. And so for many of us, we think that we need to fit this ideal in order to be accepted. But if you think about it, in our own little circles, there are some people who appreciate us, they value us, and they respect us just the way we are. It's crazy to now think, okay, because I'm looking to amplify, I need to adjust. You're not looking to attract the whole world. You're looking to attract those who see the value you bring to the table and they appreciate it and they're drawn towards it. You don't want to try to be a poor version of someone else. You want to be the best version of yourself. But the challenge for many of us is deep down inside, there's a problem with self-doubt. And we don't appreciate our own value. And for that reason, we look at that other person, but they're popular. So I want to go and check them out and see how they do what they do. And I want to copy them. The problem with that is you're now copying that other person, and it's harder work for you to be someone else than to be yourself. So even if you succeed at being that other person, it will wear you out eventually. You know, and that's something I see a lot, especially in the online space, is a lot of people think I need to, it's the whole thing about filters, right? But then we have the digital filters, but a lot of us live a filtered life. And the problem is, deep down inside, we then start to have this whole imposter syndrome thing, because deep down inside we know we're not being true to ourselves. And so when we're showing up, we're not showing up as our true selves, and we begin to think they're going to find out I'm a fraud, they're going to find out I'm a fraud, they're going to find out I'm a fraud. But actually, if you were just being the real you, those who were meant to receive from you would be drawn to you.
Yeah. So I think this is a huge roadblock for a lot of people. And so in 1 quick minute, can we share the times that you have had self-doubt? What have you done to overcome that self-doubt? Because I know it will be different from for every one of us. And so it will help a lot more people. So what did you do? How did you what did you face? How did you feel? And then how did you overcome it? Because I think for every level, there's also a level of doubt or whatever that you have to break through to get to the next level. So yeah. Miss Deborah. Madonna, okay, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I'm not muted no more. But okay. Someone needs to. Okay, we got that. All right. So for me, when I approach self doubt, that's usually a head game that's being played. Like, you can't do this. Yes, I can. You can't. You can. You know how we play tennis with ourselves in our brain, and usually for me, for number one, I've learned to talk to myself and say, okay, girl, go take a nap because your nerves is getting real bad because you're doing too much. But another thing is that sometimes I do have to just, for me, when that doubt starts to coming in and things seem like they're crashing all around me, and not to sound so churchy, not to sound so holy, I'll be like, all right, devil, you think you're getting ready to take me out, but not today, because me and the Lord getting ready to knock you plump down on your butt, send you right back to the pits of hell from where you belong. So yeah, I do have that conversation, because usually I'm the type of person, when everything starts getting really goofy around me, I'm like, okay, God, you must be getting ready to bless me in a way that's getting ready to blow my mind. So I always try to remind myself, no, I don't try. I do remind myself there is going to be something huge after this. And when I start looking at the bigger picture, when I start looking at something that's going to take me to the next level, when I start to look at how the project is going to help or bless someone else, then I start thinking, okay, that's why I got to go through this. All right, what's next? Let's go. Feel like, and I don't even know how to do double dutch, but I feel like I'm doing double dutch because I'm jumping backwards and forth, off and on, because that's how I have to remove that self doubt. Not saying that I don't, it happens. We all go through it. But those are one of the biggest things that I have to do, is just reminding myself that you're going through this for a reason, and that I have to show up. And then with me, reminding myself that I have to show up for my people and for my audience, all that also helps me to move forward. Now, do I show up and my knees are knocking together, or I feel like I'm about to cry in the middle of it? Absolutely. But I make it through, and when it's over, I'm like, Lord, I thank you. Because, honey, I was like, I don't know how I would have made it. But that's some things that you have to do. You have to still show up. When you take this leap of faith, you have to show up to make it to that next level. And that's really how I deal with the whole self-doubt situation and how to move forward.
Thank you, Miss Deborah. That is amazing, amazing. Remind yourself that you have to show up. So yeah, if anyone is thinking, yeah, maybe they are looking all so pretty and all that, they don't have doubts, that's one example for you. Yeah. And so yeah, the doubts do come, and when they come, she gets them back up and say, yeah, we'll have to do this. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Miss Madonna.
Yes, for me, I would say I have to shift my environment. So what I mean by that is, I need to get more faith in me. So like if you're looking at the screen right now and you see DJ's behind him is like a ton and massive amounts of books, that's what I do. I either get on a podcast, I go to YouTube to listen to something else in order for me to get more faith. A lot of times when, I was growing up, I thought that faith, when it says that faith come by hearing, I only thought that was spiritual. But when you come into this business realm, you need to get with other leaders and other people who have gone before you, and begin to immerse yourself with knowledge in order to subside the doubt. So that's what I do. I go and get with them so that that faith from their lives would feed the doubt that's been operating in my mindset, so that I can shift from where I am to where it is that I'm trying to go. So I began to feed myself first thing in the morning and the last thing at night, because it says to think on this, right? Day and night. So I'm hearing the faith that I need for the next day, and I repeat it again in the morning so that I can have the strength for the day to proceed and get to the next level. So that's what I do.
Amazing. Faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. And so, what do? You fill your ears, fill your eyes, taking. There has to be a replacement, so you can't cast away doubt in exclusivity. So something has to replace it. So replace fear with faith. Thank you, Miss Madonna. DJ.
Yeah, when you said that thing, I remembered it. Just something just flashed through my mind. It was a while ago. I'd been working at this point. I've been working with London Underground in operations. I was a station supervisor, and then I moved from operations into corporate, into management development. I was excited. I'd always wanted to move into this kind of role, and it was training and consulting and coaching primarily. I was really pumped up, and then I remembered I attended my very first. It was a meeting. I'm sitting in this meeting, and honestly, believe me, I literally am. There's a meeting going on. I don't understand anything they're saying. It's almost like they're speaking a completely different language. And then at some point they say, "Well, DJ, what do you think?" I say, "Yeah, it makes sense." And I'm thinking, what am I doing here? Literally asking myself, are you nuts? Why would you ever think you would fit in here? Right? I'd had people say to me for two reasons: that one, I wasn't going to get that job. They said, one, I didn't have the right skin color. They said, secondly, I came from the wrong part of the business. Right? And I proved them wrong. With God's help, I got the job. But now I'm in the job. I'm thinking, what am I doing here? And I remembered, this is mad. My boss says to me that she wants me to be the co-deliverer for one particular course. I'm like, okay, so they're piloting the course. I need to sit in the room and observe my colleague deliver this training. This is the problem. First of all, I don't understand anything he's saying. Second, I don't understand the questions the delegates are asking him. And I'm even shocked that he can answer the questions. And I'm supposed to be co-delivering this. And I'm thinking, I wonder if my old job is still there at this point. I'm really thinking I'm paranoid. But then I go, thankfully, I had a good manager who was like a mentor to me. That's a clue, right? And I go up to her and I'm like, Norma, could I get some training? And she, the funny thing is, she saw something in me I didn't see in myself. God bless her. She says, initially, she says, you know what? I don't think you need training. And then she goes away, and then an hour later, she comes back and says, you know what, DJ, you do need training. I'm going to book you on a course. And it's a 3-day course. Now, I go away on this course. It's really good 3-day course. But ask me, what was the most important thing I learned from that course? I came back from that course knowing that I was a good trainer. That was the key thing I learned, was I am a good trainer. See, I went to that course with a lot of doubt. My boss knew that I had the capabilities, but she knew that there was a problem with belief. Now, in that room, pretty much, it was really good. The content was useful. But what helped me was when we did skills practice, I got feedback from my co-delegates and from the facilitator. And they kept on saying, well, but you're different. You're already good. And that sort of thing. And that feedback for me really, really helped to build my belief. And that's why I say to people, you don't know how much of a difference good feedback would. A lot of times we see someone do something really good and we don't say anything. Like someone goes and they do their very first Facebook Live and you attend. Just take out the time to send them message. Say, I really liked how you did this and this. It was so natural. It makes a big difference. We should encourage one another. It's amazing how we know it's good, we appreciate it, but we don't tell the person. Now, you may think they come across as confident, but deep down inside, they're petrified and terrified.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Mm-hmm.
why feedback, especially motivational feedback, not is really, really good. So the feedback I got, one, having a good manager slash mentor. Number two, going through development to actually help me develop. But number three, getting that feedback. When just having other people validate what I had, really helped me to appreciate. It's easy for us to just not appreciate what we have because we keep comparing ourselves with other people.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I got that really helped. And then the other thing that I did when I got back was I then got back, and I then spoke to the people who scheduled. I said, you know what, for the next 3 months, book me out. Now, I was new, so I could easily be paced. And I'm not saying don't pace yourself, but I just felt, you know what, I'm not going to run away anymore. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
face this thing. And by the time I was, and I was working harder than my colleagues who'd been there for a while, but I put myself through it. It wasn't my boss. At some point, she was a little worried that I was going to fall sick, right? But all that together. So when I look at it, one, having good people in your life helps. You've just got to get rid of negative people, some people who would discourage and demotivate you, and have intentionally have people in your life who will encourage you and who will motivate you. It makes a big difference. Why? Because these are the people who will give you the motivational feedback. These are not the people who will knock you and keep on highlighting your flaws and your failings, but they will highlight your successes and what you do right? Because it helps. And then the other thing is, this feel the fear and do it anyways. Just do it. Just get on with it, because you will grow into it. So you will grow into it. You will grow the belief, and you will grow the capabilities as well. Um, but so I think ultimately surround yourself with good people. And I think as a Christian, I'm going to say this: really continue to discover and acknowledge who you are and whose you are. And this is really critical, and I'm saying this because I'm a person of faith, and I do acknowledge and appreciate not everyone who is attending here is a person of faith, but I'm speaking for myself, right? The one of the things is it's just little things like greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. And when you internalize that, and then I have the mind of Christ. I have that capacity of the most amazing person to ever walk the planet. When you begin to really internalize these truths, you get a spiritual understanding of who you are, plus the humility that comes with it. So you don't become arrogant because without him I can do nothing, but I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And so it's all of this together really that helps us to begin to overcome the self-doubts that actually plague us and limit us and cause us to never play the game in the league that we should be playing, but instead we keep playing the lower leagues because we think that's what we deserve.
Amazing, amazing. It's for me. I forgot I was supposed to be chiming in as well. For me, when these thoughts come, I realize that I'm not alone, because the first thing that self-doubt and all of these things come to do is to make you feel like, okay, you're the only person, you have this unique situation, nobody is going through that. And so I understand that, and then I share with people who are in my peers, people who share with a mentor, and it is really helpful. That, but sometimes by the fact that they have gone through this path, they may be able to even offer practical solutions that you will be racking your head and be wondering, oh my goodness, I wouldn't have thought about that. And so also the power of reshaping the mind. I'm a very big fan of gospel music. And then sometimes when these things come and my husband hears some music playing, he's like, okay, hope all is well. And I'm like, yeah, everything is okay. I'm just trying to realign myself And music really does that for me. It helps me block out the noise and feel my core with positive strength, feel be still on the inside, because it's when there's chaos, I really can't operate, I really can't do a lot of things. But once there's peace and calm on the inside, I can be able to say, okay, yeah, so this is what I will do next, this is what I'm going to do next, and then thereafter. So yeah. Woo! This has been really, really amazing. I wish we could go on and on and on and on and on. But yeah, we are gradually winding down, and it is six. Oh, it's not six. It's about 10 minutes to the hour of 9 for those on the EST. Take away 5. 10 minutes to the hour of 3, I think, on your for EST, and then CST is 1 hour before. I'm doing well. And so, looking at the remaining parts of 2021, what would be your what would be the first thing you would tell someone who is looking at their goals for 2021 and thinking, gosh, I didn't do much. So what would be top your first advice? What would be the first advice you would give to that particular person, an entrepreneur, a coach, or consultant, someone who has not realized their goals from January to June, and this is the 3rd of July, and they're thinking, where do we go from here? What would you say to that person, Miss Madonna?
So the first thing that I would say is get a coach.
Okay.
Sometimes you're not moving forward because you don't have someone to be accountable to. And so that's kind of like what you may need so that they can say, okay, let's kick it into gear. Let me see what it is that you're doing or what you have done this year. And, let's look at some numbers, right? Because a lot of times, like I said, what happens in the house stays in the house. They still have that mentality. No, just like how Ruth has said a moment ago, no, go and share this with someone else because they may have gone through that already. Once you say, okay, this is what I have been doing, they can say, oh, okay, well, if you just tweak it right here, tweak it right there, boom, you'll be on your way. And that is, I remember growing up, and a lot of times people have said, all pastors need pastors. But like in this in this space, in this sphere, it's just like, okay, as a coach, like you need a coach so you can stop playing around. So, or even if you're an entrepreneur and someone else, like you still need a coach. And even looking at billionaires and even people like Oprah, like she have several coaches. You think she got there by herself, don't be deceived. You need to have someone else in order to help you level up and get to your next level. So that would be my suggestion. Get a coach, get the help you need so that you can elevate and go to the next level.
Get a coach, get a coach, get a coach. And even your favorite coach has a coach. And sometimes DJ is called the coach's coach, in some parts of the world. And Miss Deborah, what would you, yeah, Miss Deborah also does a lot of coaching, especially for women who want to share their story and maximize their visibility and create income for themselves and leave a legacy. So what would be your best advice, the first thing you would say to anyone who
Well, well, after you get a coach, stop dumbing yourself down. You have got to operate in your excellence and in your knowledge. You will be amazed at all the knowledge and all the power that you have within you. That if you would just stop doubting yourself, I guess that would have to be it too. You can't because really and truly self-doubt comes from dumbing yourself down. And this is not the season to do that. Step out. If I'm gonna be honest with you, if God told you to do it, step out and do it. Call a coach, get the coach. Yes, operating excellence. You have got to step out and do it because when you realize when God gives you a vision, He's going to give you provision. Now, He never told you what the process in between that vision and provision was going to be, but you just got to get up and start moving. You might be thinking, like, okay, you want me to do this and I just lost my job? And God telling you, absolutely. I didn't tell you to question me. I asked you to do it. And when you do it, then you're going to start seeing your blessings are going to come in because that main coach that you want to work with, might be the main coach running a special talking about, look, I need 5 people I need to try a new program with. I'm not going to charge you. All I want you to do is audit the program. And you're like, wait a minute, I'm getting this and it's free? What you say? And that's why when you make up your mind that you're going to stop dumbing yourself down and you're going to get out there and do it, God is going to give you what you need to go to that next level.
Yeah. Go, go, go. Show up. Do it. Everything. Action words. Once you get a coach, you run with it. DJ.
Okay, so this is a person who maybe didn't have a great first half of the year, and they're here now. What I'll say to you is, it's gone. What you want to do is learn from it. And I think that's the thing. There's a lot we can learn from what wasn't great. So let's learn from it, right? So before you chuck it, don't just chuck it, but actually let's go back and let's learn from it. What went well? What didn't go so well? What did we do right? What did we not do right? What happened for us that worked against us? What happened for us that worked for us? And actually, let's really explore our successes for the first half of the year and celebrate them anyways. Because it's so easy for us because sometimes people say, I haven't, because you didn't hit your goals doesn't mean it wasn't a successful first half of the year, because sometimes we've got to put things in context. There's certain things which you may not have planned for that happened, but you were still able to ride that wave. So yes, you didn't hit your goals. And I'm saying this because let me share this with us. I used to set goals pretty much every year, and I would never hit my goals, and I'd feel miserable. And then there was one particular year, I think it was 2006 or 2007, I decided I wasn't going to set goals that year. Guess what? That was my worst year ever. It was my worst year ever. And so here was I thinking, I keep setting these big, because they set big, hairy, audacious goals. And I set some really ridiculous goals. Now that I look back, I just realize, and a lot of people do that, it's highly ambitious. We say it's faith, but it's not really faith. We're just plucking something out the sky and hoping by magic we're going to achieve it, right? And then when we don't achieve it, we then feel like we're failures. So rather than actually celebrating what we've achieved, we compare what we've achieved with the unrealistic goals we set, and then we feel like a failure. But actually, when you really check it out, you have grown a great deal in that period. So rather than celebrate your growth and celebrate the increase that God has brought into your life, you then begin to feel like a failure, and the way you feel impacts on how you behave, and now that messes up the rest of the year. So what I'm going to say is you need to go back and look at the first half of the year, and you need to find the things that you genuinely need and should celebrate and be grateful for. That's the first thing, right? Now that we've done that and we've evaluated, we've learned from the last year, then let's go back and reevaluate our goals. And this is critical, right? Is this thing really that important to me? Or is it just, something I just put on there because I want to feel, I don't know. So what is really, one thing I've come to realize for many of us is we set goals that are not really important to us because someone else says it should be important. And so we're going after something that is important to one other person because they have made us believe it should be important to us, but actually it's not. And so we're working, our hands are in it, but our heart is not in it. And when your heart is not in something, when you face the challenges and the difficulties that you will face along the way, then we quit. Why? Because it takes heart to overcome the challenges we need to overcome on the way to success. And that's why what I would say is evaluate these goals. Are they really important to you? What are, when it comes to this work, what's the most important thing to you? When it comes to relationships, what's the most important thing? Which is, if by the end of the year I have achieved this as far as work is concerned, I will feel fulfilled. If I've achieved this as far as relationships are concerned, I would feel fulfilled. If I've achieved this as far as my relationship, my walk with God is concerned, I will be fulfilled. If I've achieved this as far as my finances are concerned, I will feel fulfilled, right? Oh, yeah, someone I know that you have this cousin or this friend or this person on Instagram who was able to get out of debt and pay off their house in 3 weeks or 3 months or whatever. So, are you them? Right? That's them. You want to just, and I think sometimes because by doing that, we then make ourselves miserable because we're going after someone else's goals that actually don't align with us. You are unique and you are special. You are, your life is not their life. And someone said, my wife said something the other day about keeping up with the Joneses. Once upon a time, the Joneses were your neighbors. Right now, the Joneses are on Instagram and on Facebook, and they're all over the place. And many of us are distracted by them, thinking that we need to keep up with them. Shut them out and set your own goals.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Don't borrow other people's goals and then live a miserable life chasing someone else's dream. Because you know what? Life is a challenge. It should be a challenge, but there's no point facing challenges building a house that actually we don't win. By the time we're done building it, we're not going to like living in it.
Yeah, you'll be happy
And,
with
and,
it.
and I'll just leave it there.
Wow. I mean, that is a whole message put together because so many people are guilty of that. At some point, I was, for a number of people, when the whole Facebook group thing had started in, I think, 2017 or so, I had started Facebook group and stuff. I think I had about 2,000 people, but I couldn't keep up. It was, I was breathless, posted every day, trying to keep up with the engagement. I had to tell them, guys, I'm really sorry. Can do this no more. And so even though it is a great tool, I see those who do it and I'm like, awesome, awesome. When I have the time, I go, I leave chats, but I don't put myself under the pressure of I have to have my own group. I have to. No, no, no. It didn't work for me, and it doesn't work for me. So yeah, thank you so much, DJ. I mean, so for me, if I was going to be meeting someone who is thinking about how to make the next half of the year, the better part, I would say create systems to profit. Create systems around whatever it is that you do. It is time to stop being haphazard about your business. It's time to put structure to it. And so have your business set up in such a way that it is run like a proper business. Most time, there's the popular saying business owners should be working on the business and not in the business. And so what are the activities that you as a CEO should be doing? Tell yourself, I will do that. And what are the things you can delegate? What are the things you can outsource? What are the things that you shouldn't even bother with? Because at the end of the day, you should be focused on what will create the results that you want for your life and then for your business. And so, yeah, so amazingly. So if you have enjoyed this short chat, it will be so much more. Everyone here will be available at the bootcamp next Friday, and you will have a chance to book a chat with each of them. How amazing is that? And so you get a chance to sign up, have a convocation call, and say, "Hey, Miss Deborah, please come help me. Come help me, Miss Madonna. Yes, I need to have a chat with you. Let's break some of this. Let's break some of these mindset goals." So DJ, I mean, look, help me. Let's stretch this out and create my plan. It is going to be possible. Someone sent me a message and said, "Are you sure the ticket is it just for the recordings or does it include all those bonuses?" I was like, "It includes all the bonuses, everything, everything. This is the first. This is the beginning, and so everything is going." If you are going to be booking for an appointment with each of them, I know it will be in the thousands, but this is going to be an amazing time to get your business x-rayed, and then so you have all the tools, all the systems that will help you to get started. So we're doing from mindset to what your story should be to what's your content. I'm coming with content and helping you to create that whole guest thing. And even if you're thinking, okay, I don't have a website, okay, I don't have this, we're going to map out where and how you should be seen online. And then Paul and Emily, they're going to be coming up with the sales, the money, how you're going to create. Paul is a sales machine. He had another session and couldn't, this was overlapping and couldn't make it. And so, but he's going to be coming there. For those who are going to show up live there, he has already said he's having like to give away 5 books or so, so there'll be opportunities to win, one of his books. I'm so excited, and it is going to be an amazing thing. You deserve to have a visible and profitable brand. Tell yourself that I deserve to have a visible and a profitable brand. So we will
And I
see.
just throw something in that the first 5 people after this, so this is for those who take action now. The first 5 people who take action and enroll for the boot camp, I'm going to give each one of you a copy of my book, Discovery Called Magic. Discovery Called Magic, in plain English, it's where I shared my unique approach to having non-salesy conversations with prospects that automatically, it literally converts, it gets them to the point where they want what you offer more than you want them to have it, so you don't need to sell it. And it's a book that's literally changed so many businesses. But this is just for the first 5. Okay, the first 5 people who take action, I will give you a copy of Discovery Called Magic. So I just thought I'd put that out there very quickly.
All right, I'll take the next 5. The next 5, I'll give the Prayer Jabez in the marketplace with the book and the workbook. So that means the next 5. So the first 5, so that means we up to 10. So we go get 10. So the first 5, you go get his book. The second 5, you'll get my book and my workbook. And yeah, you know how we roll. Or should I do #5? Because that's 30 days of motivation and inspiration. Which book should I do? You know what? Maybe I'll give you a choice. You'll get a choice of whether you want the book and the workbook or the book. Ah, there you
Thank
go.
you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. What? Now, if you are watching and you are not and you are not taking advantage, you are definitely going to take advantage of this. For Miss Deborah's book, that book is fire. Let me talk like her. Because the prayer of Jabez is something that gets you from here to actually putting it down. And when she says workbook, it is workbook. You actually get to work on your thoughts, work on your prayer, actual prayers, and how that influences. We talked about self-doubt, so it's at a perfect book. And DJ's book is something that has given him, he has over 95% success rate. He's being very modest, and is not fluff. It is not fluff. It's so simple. You know how people go on sales calls, and a lot of people are saying, I don't want to be salesy, I don't want to people to think I'm coming off as I just want their money. This is just conversations. They will be wanting, okay, tell me, I want to buy, tell me. And it's absolutely brilliant. Thank you, everyone, for everyone who's going to be attending the my bonus. The first 5, the next 5. The next 5 will get a 60-day customized content calendar. Others would get a 30-day content calendar. So the next 5 will get double of that. And so it's
So that means we up to 15.
it's raining bonuses. I think with Paul's 5, Paul's giving 5 books as well. Paul's giving 5 books of his book. So it is amazing. The bonuses are piling up. Do not snooze. And it's better if you come with a friend. Friends who win together, stay together. How do they say it now? Friends to earn together,
That
stay together.
works.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So once again, the link to register is in the comments. You deserve to have a highly visible and profitable brand in 2021. God bless you. Thank you so much, Miss Madonna. Thank you, Miss Deborah. Thank you, Mr. DJ. God bless you all once again. Bye for now.